What's going on YouTube? Ferocity here. With Black Ops Cold War launching later tonight or early tomorrow morning depending on what time zone you're in, I thought it'd be a fun exercise to go through the last 10 years of Black Ops and talk about the positives and negatives in this series. Call of Duty Black Ops was released on November 9th, 2010. Its release followed the much polarizing Modern Warfare 2. Black Ops had big shoes to fill, as Modern Warfare 2 was the biggest Call of Duty title of all time. And it delivered. Honestly, in 2010, early 2011, if you'd asked me if I liked this game, I probably would have said no. The graphics were different than Modern Warfare 2, the kill streaks were not as strong, there was no stopping power, the guns felt weaker. I was stupid, let's be honest. As much as I love Modern Warfare 2, even now, it's more because of how insane over the top the game is, rather than it just being a good game. Black Ops 1 was good. The maps were probably the best in the entire series. Honestly, I'm having a tough time figuring out what a bad map actually is in that game. I know there realistically is one or two, but I can't think of one off the top of my head. Grid, banger. Jungle, banger. Launch, banger. Radiation, banger. The holy trinity of Summit, Nuketown, Firing Range. Those are top 5 all time. This game was it. Sure, it lacked the nuke, stopping power, quick scoping, and shotguns as secondaries, but that all brought balance to this game, which made it one of the best in the series and easy to go back to today and find enjoyment. Now, it wouldn't be fair to just talk about all the good in this game without highlighting the bad. Now I need to take off these rose-colored glasses because honestly, I could talk about positives with Black Ops for days. Remember the Famas? Yeah, that was literally the only gun people used for a very long time. Mostly because it was quite overpowered. It still, even now, after being nerfed multiple times, probably the best gun in the assault rifle class. It was frustrating to continuously play against it and shred, and be shredded by it. Nothing was more frustrating though. As bad as the Famas was, nothing was more frustrating in that game than Second Chance. Now, Second Chance was in previous iterations of Call of Duty, but that was Last Stand. And honestly, let's be real here, the death streak from Modern Warfare 2, Final Stand might have been the most unfair thing ever, where you died and got your primary weapon. Now, for those that don't know what Second Chance or Last Stand is, after you die, you pull out your pistol to try to get one last shot in the enemy that killed you. But in Black Ops 1, if you got Second Chance Pro, well, you had an opportunity for your teammate to revive you. So you would drop down in a Second Chance, maybe shoot a couple bullets, maybe kill the guy that shot you, and then boom, in comes your teammate, and you're revived, and now you're back in the game like nothing happened. And that was very frustrating for players. On top of that, if you dropped a player in Second Chance, and your teammate cleaned up the kill, you were rewarded with an assist for a good portion of the game. They did change this later on, but the amount of times I had a chopper gunner going, or I was one away from a blackbird or dogs, and then all of a sudden, oh, I shoot the Second Chance guy, drops down a Second Chance, my teammate cleans it up for an assist, and then I get shot from somebody in the back, and there goes your kill streak. It was so frustrating, and honestly, still frustrates me now. Oh, and I can't forget about Ghost being broken. The most broken perk in that entire game. Now, it's not the fact that Ghost existed that was the problem. See, Ghost was in other Call of Duties as well. It was in COD 4 as a UAV jammer. It was in Modern Warfare 2 as cold-blooded, but it was never this overpowered. So what made it so overpowered in Black Ops 1? Well, because there was no stopping power. See, back in both Modern Warfare 2 and COD 4, UAV Jammer and Cold Blooded were in perk tier 2, where the almighty stopping power was. And stopping power was a huge crutch perk, which is one of the big reasons why Black Ops eliminated it. But when they eliminated it, it now lent people to abuse this Ghost perk, because now there's nothing else that's stopping players from saying, oh, I don't want to be seen on the enemy map, so I'm going to use this perk and use it as much as possible. So that was a big problem because we'd never experienced this in other games. So people just roamed the map undetected unless there was a Blackbird, which I'll talk about in a second here. The kill streaks, well, not as top end as Modern Warfare 2's were. They were still fun. They were still good. Whether it was the RCXD, the Napalm Strike, the Chopper Gunner, the Dogs, those were all good streaks. They were good enough. We didn't need the Tactical Nuke or the AC-130 or the Harrier Strike, even though those would have been fun. But honestly, this was a nice departure from them. Plus, having the addition of the Blackbird, which, for those that don't know, the Blackbird was just an upgraded UAV, which showed you direction and travel path of every enemy player, regardless if they had Ghost or not, which was quite good and actually showed you where Ghost players were because they could no longer hide in their corners if you had a Blackbird up. And honestly, I don't think it's in Black Ops 5, and that's a little bit disappointing. Moving on. Overall, Black Ops, in my opinion, had arguably the best maps. Decent weapon balance and great kill streaks. Just some minorly frustrating perks. Looking at you, Second Chance and Ghost. Black Ops 2 was released on November 12th, 2012. How would Treyarch follow up Black Ops 1? Well, they made the best Call of Duty multiplayer of all time. There is no contest. This is straight up the best Call of Duty, period. Treyarch stepped up their game and added some much needed innovation to what was feeling like a stale formula. They added the Pick 10 system to create a class. That allowed players to use multiple perks from one tier in the same class, as well as eliminate different items like a primary or secondary weapon along with their attachments to have more varied classes, which was super important because as the formula used to be, it was primary, secondary, 1 or 2 attachments, and your 3 perks, and that was it. In this game, you could have 4 perks, 2 in each tier. You could have no secondary, you could have no primary, and it allowed players to have a little bit of variety. Now, while I say this, it did not stop the players from mostly using the same 3 perks, but I'll touch more on that later. The kill streak system was upgraded from the regular kill streak, 1 kill, 1 point towards your kill streak, to a new score streak system, which rewarded objective-based players, where previously it didn't matter if you hopped on 30 flags in domination. If you had 0 kills, you'd be nowhere closer to a kill streak. Whereas now it was, if you hopped on 30 flags, you're most certainly probably not just the top scorer, but you're getting a ton of kills from kill streaks. And it really did allow objective-based players to really contribute to that kill total, and it really did make the game more balanced. And it changed the way players played. Now, remember how just a few minutes ago I talked about how Black Ops 1's Ghost was completely broken? Well, they fixed it in Black Ops 2. Actually, they didn't just fix it, I would say they perfected it. It became the ultimate stealth perk for flankers, but it was not a stealth perk for campers. See, you wouldn't get detected by UAVs if you were moving, but if you were sitting in a corner and somebody had a UAV up and you were running Ghosts, well, too bad. You're getting spotted. It was such a unique concept, really, and the majority of the community cheered for it because it was a great addition and people wanted it. Treyarch also had some pretty amazing kill streaks in Black Ops 2. Hellstorm Missile, Lightning Strike, to name a couple. Those are what I mostly remember because that's what everybody ran, because they were earnable. They were right in that mid-tier earnable for a score streak, and it was awesome. And you can normally get 2 or 3 kills per Hellstorm or per Lightning Strike, and it made them so versatile and so usable, especially in objective-based game modes. And that's what I thought this game was centered around, was objective-based game modes. The maps were also top-notch. They had the couple stinkers, Drone and Turbine, but this gave us 2 of top 5 best maps in Black Ops history, with Hijacked and Raid. These maps are still getting replicated today, and people talk about them all the time. I will never back out of a game on Hijacked. I will never back out of a game on Raid. These are some of the best maps in the Call of Duty franchise. Like I said, probably top 5. Honestly, my top 5 is Hijacked, Firing Range, Raid, Nuketown, and Summit, in that order. Let me know in the comment down below what your order of the top 5 maps in Call of Duty are, because I'd be very interested to hear. Anyways, the negative. Can't just talk about the positives, even though I probably could for hours. I love this game, but I don't think I've ever been as mad at video games as I was during this game's life cycle. The snipers. The DRSR, more specifically. I always felt it was extremely easy to quickscope with it. It was so frustrating how easily people would be able to bring that up, especially if they're rocking dexterity, which I'll talk about in a second, and just bloop you, right? And boom, you're dead, nothing you could do about it. And they always seemed to be a one-shot kill. You never seemed to get hit markered, and it was just super tough to play against. The Remington was just an auto kill machine. At least that's the way it felt, right? You could be just absolutely hammering this guy that had a Remington, and all of a sudden, boop, dead, gone. And I get it that shotguns should be powerful from close range, and that's where they're going to be the most effective. But because of long barrel, it seemed the Remington had quite a long range and just insta'd you far more often than it should. The LMGs were also quite frustrating with the target finder. Oh boy. A few times I raged. Now, looking back on it now, I don't think I'm as mad at the target finder as I used to be, but boy, during its time, I did not enjoy it. Did not enjoy the target finder. Also, the other thing that seemed to always frustrate me was the fact that, like, vehicles would just randomly blow up as you're running by them, which never really seemed to make sense to me. Thing could be on fire for 5 minutes. It's like, oh, I spawned in front of this truck. Oh, and I'm dead again. Great. Awesome. Super fun. The perk balance. You remember how I talked about that? Those 3 perks being, like, the most used perks? Well, those perks were lightweight, toughness, and dexterity. And honestly, all of them felt like crutch perks. Maybe not so much lightweight, but definitely dexterity and toughness. With toughness, it reduced the amount you flinched when you got shot, which for pretty much every player, if you were able to maintain where you're shooting as somebody else is shooting you, that's half the battle, and that's where toughness came into play, and that made it a huge crutch perk. With dexterity, you were able to pull your gun up faster, and you were able to mantle faster. Both were big crutches. And lastly, the lightweight thing. To me, there's not necessarily a ton of evidence to this, but there were times where it caused some weird camera angle issues, which made you not see an enemy even though you're looking right there, and that enemy just swooped in and, you know, killed you before they were even on your screen. But then you look at the kill cam and they were on your screen the whole time, and they were using lightweight. I'm not gonna tinfoil hat this one. I just think that lightweight did cause some frame rate and game back end issues for it to actually be able to properly register on your screen. The gun variety. I had issues out of what I mentioned before, the LMGs and the snipers. The AR class was basically ruled by the M8 and the AN94. It's basically what everybody used. I didn't think that the MTAR was very good, or the Type 25, or even the SCAR. They did do a patch about mid-game to buff those other assault rifles, but it was still ruled mostly by the AN94 and the M8. The only 2 guns which seemed to kind of be in that same class were the SMR and the FAL, which were single-shot guns, but when used with the select fire attachment, you could actually turn that gun into a fully automatic rifle, which made it a 2-shot kill basically from anywhere, and was not very fun to play against, I'll be honest with that. Caused me to rage a lot, and did cause some balance issues with it of its own, because these guns barely even recoiled and they were shooting at full auto. So there's reasons why that was banned in competitive play. More on competitive play. Black Ops 2 was the big introduction to professional Call of Duty. And for me, it has never been the same since. It just simply had the best moments. And the addition of Hardpoint, the new King of the Hill mode, really rounded out the competitive playlist, because you now had Hardpoint, Search and Destroy, and Capture the Flag, and those 3 game modes were the pinnacle of competitive Call of Duty. Now, I could talk about Black Ops 2 for hours, and why it's the best Call of Duty, and why it's my favorite Call of Duty, but I'm not going to do that. I don't have the time for that. This video is already running long. So a couple other things to highlight. This was the first game to have microtransactions in the Call of Duty franchise. They were all cosmetic, mind you, but remember, that would all change in the next game. I truly love this game and hate that hackers right now are ruining this master class of a Call of Duty game. Black Ops 3 was released November 6th, 2015. Now, Black Ops 3 was a different game at the time. There was a big push for advanced movement in first-person shooters. Titanfall 2 had been released. Destiny had been released. So shooters had jetpacks, wall running, that type of movement, sliding. So Black Ops 3 followed suit with a double jump and a wall run feature, sort of like what Titanfall had. Both were great along with the map design, which made it for a decent experience. I was honestly concerned at first that it wouldn't be a great experience, but as we played, it did work well together. They were well integrated. The addition to swimming as a movement option and underwater gunfights were a lot of fun. Now, they only occurred on a limited number of maps and in very small parts of those maps, but they were still fun. Now I'm going to divide the fan base. Sorry, but I have to do it. I hate specialists. Now, it's not that I think it's a bad idea. I just don't think it belongs in Call of Duty. See, the hero-type games were on the rise. Overwatch was out there, but what really gave this game a lot of influence was Destiny. And that was evident with the introduction of Specialists, very similar to the hero classes that they had in Destiny. Specialist was the character that you chose to be at the beginning of each game, and that Specialist gave you a unique weapon or ability that you could use during that game. Now, as the game went on, you earned more in your meter to be able to achieve either your weapon or your ability, and that's how you could use it to gain an advantage. The problem was there wasn't really any counters to these. There wasn't a way to counter the advantage that you were gaining from your specialist. Now, everybody had the same ability to gain the advantage because everybody had the possibility of getting a specialist streak. But at the same time, if you were fighting somebody that all of a sudden turned around and had their specialists, there really wasn't going to be a way you were going to stop them. And that was really frustrating. Now, maybe it's because I'm a Call of Duty purist. I think Call of Duty is at its best when it's boots on the ground with good maps and guns. And that's all I need to be happy. The advanced movement was different, and specialists seemed like too much at the time. Now, it was what it was in Black Ops 3. I just was hoping that it wouldn't be a mainstay in Call of Duty, and obviously with the stuff that's come out with Call of Duty Cold War, it looks like they won't be in Black Ops Cold War, which I'm totally fine with. The game was good, don't get me wrong. I liked it for what it was, and I did feel like it was a different experience. But for the most part, it felt like Call of Duty. But even with all that, I still felt myself longing and missing the days of Black Ops 2. And even Black Ops 1 for that matter. The maps for the most part were fine. Hunted, Stronghold, Aquarium being the standouts for me. The guns again, only a few stood out to me as must-haves. I did always love the Razorback though. The Brecci was probably the most frustrating gun in that entire game because I don't know whose idea it was to make an automatic shotgun, but that's neither here nor there. Remember supply drops? Yeah, so do I. Yeah. This was when supply drops were rampant. The black market, as it was called, allowed you to trade in your crypto keys, which you earned 1 or 2 per game, and use those towards supply drops to get new gear, customization items, or even weapons. And this didn't sit well for most Call of Duty fans, as they never got the chance to get or play with certain weapons, and it seemed it was just favoring those who spent money. and they were the ones that reaped the benefits of the customization items, the weapons, and the gear. This was a big change from Black Ops 2. Overall, I would say Black Ops 3 is just a fine game. I put it at the higher end of the rest of the Call of Duties, but from the high bar that Black Ops 1 and 2 set, it just doesn't meet that bar. But again, I think it's a fine game. Black Ops 4 was released on October 12th, 2018. Look at that. Black Ops 4 was released in October. That's pretty cool, right? Right? Now, if you're new to this channel, you won't know this, but I quit this game. I doubt I'll ever play it again. I went into this game thinking it was going to be a great Call of Duty. Despite the specialist system, I really had high hopes for it. It was boots on the ground. The Pick 10 system was back after its short departure in World War II, which was a weird time. All was looking up, and honestly, the game was great in launch. It was fine during the beta. It wasn't until January where the problems started to seep through the cracks. Black Ops 4 kept with the specialist system, but revamped it to have both weapon and support. In some cases, it was a riot shield and flashbang, or a razor wire and a barrier. There were many more as well. It was just another way to implement a system to give free kills to lesser skilled players, in my opinion. Black Ops 4 also introduced operator mods, which were extra attachments you could deck your gun out with to give it that extra firepower. Now, to balance this, you did have to use it in your Pick 10, and I believe it took up 2 spots. But regardless of that, the flashlight attachment for one of the shotguns threw off the aim of the player you were shooting and made it extremely hard for you to be killed. This caused a ton of frustration, cries of unbalanced gameplay. I was quite glad that it was later balanced through TACMASK, but at the time, what a terrible decision. Operator mods in general were just a bad idea. The specialist system in this game was in general just a bad idea. Black Ops 4 threw away the typical healing and kill system and went with a more Overwatch style of play based on damage, and gave players more kills than ever before, calling them EKIAs. The healing system was now up to the player instead of an auto heal system, as there had been in every other Call of Duty. You just had to press on Xbox, it was left bumper, but left L1 on PS4s, I guess, and that would have healed you. You had basically a stim pack, and there was different perks you could use to reduce the amount of healing time that you had so you could heal quicker and whatnot. It was a fine addition. Neither of these changes were really issues in the Call of Duty community, and we're seeing the return of the EKIA system in Black Ops 5, and honestly, I wouldn't care if the healing system returned as well. Black Ops 4 brought back several fan-favorite maps from past Black Ops games, in what seemed like an attempt to fill the game with more content. Because if they weren't there, the game would have lacked content, just like Call of Duty World War II did. Black Ops 4 did away with the supply drop system and brought in the Black Ops Pass. Great. This was very reminiscent of the Fortnite Battle Pass and was clearly a retread to capitalize on a system that was working for Riot Games. I don't miss this game. I really don't think I do. I think it's the black sheep of the franchise. And I hope Black Ops Cold War can wash the taste out of my mouth for having to talk about it. As a Black Ops game, it's bottom tier. As a Call of Duty game, it's middle of the pack, which shows you just how high-end every Black Ops title truly is. There you have it. The history of the Black Ops series. How will Black Ops Cold War be? What do you predict for the next game in the franchise? Let me know with a comment down below. As always, guys, if you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more videos from me, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.